everyone, I'm Lauren McBride and welcome to my gel polish application workshop. In this workshop, I'm going to teach you how to apply gel polish to your client's nails that not only looks beautiful, but will also be durable and last between their appointments. I hope you enjoy it. Let's get started. Okay, so gel polish application. Now I'm going to show you two different methods of applying gel polish to the nails. So as you have hopefully seen my other workshop on the prep of the natural nail, I have prepped these two nails so you can see the difference. This one, how shiny it is, I've completely prepped and dehydrated these nails. Okay, so on this first nail, I'm going to show you a traditional salon style application of gel polish. So the first thing I'm going to do, I've already gone over the natural nail with some acetone to fully dehydrate it, which is why it's got that white hazy hue about it. So the first thing I'm going to do is get my gel polish and use my base coat to create a nice even layer onto the natural nail. So what I need to do, I need to go up to the cuticle as far as I can and pull back right down through the centre of the nail. Removing any excess product that's on my brush, I am then concentrating on the outside edge of my brush. So I'm not interested in what this side of my brush is doing. I'm interested on what this side of my brush is doing, because I want to get that. I'm pulling down the side walls with my thumb. I want to get that as close to that side wall edge as I possibly can, right out to my free edge. I'm going to do exactly the same on this side, but again, I'm not interested in what's happening in the middle. I'm interested in what's happening on that outside edge of that brush. Pulling my brush down along that side wall out to the free edge. Now, because I wasn't interested in what was going on in the center, there may be a pool of product now in the center line. So I'm just going to skip over that ever so slightly with my brush to remove any excess product. And then you need to fully cure. Depending on your product and depending on your lamp, it will either be 30 seconds, 60 seconds or 2 minutes. My gel polish is 30 seconds. That's going in for a 30-second cure. Okay, so that's my base coat nice and cured now. Now, it's really important not to touch that or get any dust or fluff or anything like that in there. So this is the time where you tell your client to put their phone away, because you don't want them getting distracted, going into pockets or handbags and messing up your gel polish application of your base coat. So exactly the same technique. I'm going to pop my brush down about 3 mil away from the cuticle line. Okay, so I've popped my brush down about 3 mil away, and then I'm going to butt my brush up against the cuticle but without touching it. So going as close as you possibly can and then pulling back. What a lot of techs tend to do is go straight in at the cuticle, and you're going to get that well of product, and then you're going to flood that cuticle, which obviously is the last thing that you want to do. If you flood the cuticle and you touch the side walls or the skin, then your product is not going to last. You're going to get lifting, you're going to get overexposure on the client's nails, which may cause chemical reaction, an allergic reaction, and that's the last thing that you want to do. So you need to start about 3 mil away from the cuticle line, butt it up, pull it back. Okay, so that's your center line done. So then, like with our base coat, I'm not interested in what's happening in the middle. I'm only interested in what's happening on the outside edge of that brush. I'm pulling down that side wall, and where the line of my middle line starts or ends, that's where I start my application for the side wall. Again, leaving about 1 millimeter's difference between the cuticle and the polish. We don't want to touch the skin with that polish, and pulling it back to the free edge. I'm going to do exactly the same on the other side. So pulling down that side wall, taking it down, pulling it back to the free edge. So as you can see with this product I've now created, because I wasn't interested in what was going on here, because I was interested in what was going on my cuticle and side wall application, I've got a well of product. I'm just going to take that away and remove it with a feather-like motion of my brush. All right, so I'm going to pop that again into the lamp for 30 seconds to cure. Okay, so after my 30-second cure on my first coat, as you can see, this product doesn't have very much shrinkage at all, which is great. It's what you want, but sometimes you can get, after the product has cured in the lamp, it can shrink back. So you would need to address that if your product does do that, by reapplying the product on that cuticle and side wall line. So what I'm going to do now is exactly the same thing. I've already put my guide in. I know exactly where I'm going, and this time again I'm going to go about 3 mil behind the cuticle, butt it up, pull it back. I'm going to go down through my side walls, pulling that skin back along my side wall line, and doing exactly the same on the other side. I'm then going to address the well that I've created in the middle, and this time I'm going to go across the top of the free edge and cap the edge. Now the reason I've done that, you don't want to have too much on your brush when you do that, because you can create a well of product at the tip, which you don't want. If I turn the client's hand to the side, you can see it's a nice even application of product. The reason I've capped the end is because it literally caps over the free edge of the nail, and it helps with the longevity, especially if your clients work in an office and they're typing a lot. This is a must to cap the end of the nail. I'm just going to pop that into cure again for another 30 seconds. Okay, so my second coat of gel polish is now cured. All right, now if we were going to be doing nail art on top of this, I would be wiping off the inhibition layer and I'd be applying my nail art onto this coat. We're not doing that today, so I'm just going to go straight in with my top coat. This is a wipe top coat, whereas other products you can get either a matte top coat, which you don't need to wipe over, or you can get a no wipe shiny top coat. But I'm using a wipe top coat just to show you what to do afterwards. So again, exactly the same with my colour polish. Now this is slightly different because it's clear, so you need to be really careful not to flood the cuticle, the side walls, or get it on the skin. I've got enough product on my brush, as you can see, and I'm doing again 3 mil away, butting up to where the colour is and pulling it back down. All right, and then again side walls, taking into consideration pulling that side wall back with my finger, and doing exactly the same on the other side. And I'm going to cap that free edge and just feather over. And again in the lamp for, this is a 60-second cure, so that's going in for 60 seconds. Okay, so my nail has now come out of the lamp and it is fully cured. Now what a lot of nail techs tend to do is go straight in with their gel wipe off. If anything touches this nail for a good 30 to 60 seconds afterwards, after it's come out of the lamp and cured, it's going to blow the product. So by that I mean if you go on top with your gel wipe off, this is cold and your nail has just come out of a warm lamp. The curing process isn't anything to do with heat, it's to do with the wavelength of the light, but it does generate a certain amount of heat. So the last thing you want to do is to cool this down too quickly, because it's going to make your top coat go hazy and almost quite a dull, not shiny effect. So when the client takes their hands out, no matter how rushed you are, don't be tempted to go straight in with your gel wipe off solution, because that's obviously cold. So the amount of time that I've been explaining that to you, that should be absolutely fine now. I've got my lint-free pad because you don't want to add any fluff to the situation, especially if you're taking photos after you've done the client's nails. I've got my lint-free pad with some gel wipe-off solution on there, and I'm just going to go in and wipe around the cuticle, down the side walls and across my free edge. Now, because of the prep process, we need to rehydrate this nail because we dehydrated it before we applied the gel polish. So you need to apply a little bit of cuticle oil just to that cuticle area, and then using your thumbs, going either side and pushing it down into those side walls along the top of the nail. So you're pushing it down into the free edge and along the top of the nail. And that is your gel polish application. Now on this nail, so this is a salon style gel polish application, okay? So I've got nice and tight into that cuticle and into that side wall, but there is another way of doing it to get even closer, which is what I'm going to show you on this nail. So I'm going to use exactly the same products. I'm just going to dehydrate this nail again. So I've got a lint-free pad, my acetone, and I'm pushing that cuticle back with my thumb, dehydrating into the side walls and the cuticle area and the free edge. So you can see that's gone nice and white, which means there's no oil or surface shine on there at all. And I'm going to go in with my base coat like I did last time. I'm going to butt it up as far as I can to the cuticle and pull it down the middle, pulling back those side walls, pulling back that side wall and going down the side, and I'm going to cure that for 30 seconds. So while that nail's in the lamp, I'm just going to get my palette and I'm going to get a little bit of the gel polish that I'm using and I'm going to pop it onto my palette. I am then going to get my ultra fine 000 brush, which has got an ultra fine tip on the end of that brush. So what I want to do on this nail is create such a close line to the cuticle and the side walls. It almost looks like the polish is growing out of the nail and out of the finger. So the way to do this is to create a frame. So I'm going to pull that side wall down as far as I possibly can. I'm going to pop my fine detail brush into my gel polish. I'm going to fully load it, okay, nice and evenly. So I fully loaded that brush and I'm going to start drawing a frame. So I'm going to pop a little blob just there and I'm going to take that as far down into that side wall as I possibly can, okay, holding that side wall back. I'm then going to go into the cuticle line, so as far as I possibly can. And what you can also do is pull that cuticle back this way. Can you see how much closer? I'm just going to pull this up so you can see how much closer you can get in by pulling that cuticle back. And I'm just creating a frame with my gel polish. But without touching the skin. I'm going to do exactly the same this side. I'm going to come down and round, tucking in under that cuticle. And down my side wall, but without touching the skin. I'm going to flash cure that now for 10 seconds. And you could do that on one hand, then the other hand, and then the other hand, and then the other hand. So you're flash curing each finger for 10 seconds on alternate hands. So as you can see now, I've created a frame. So to be fair, it looks quite messy at the moment, but we're going to sort that out. Now what I'm going to do is apply my gel polish as I did on the other nail. So I'm going to pop about 3 millimeters away, butt it up and pull out. Butt it up. Up against my side walls and pop it in the lamp 30 seconds. Okay, so that nail's come out of the lamp now, and that's had a full cure on it. So I don't need to redo my frame. I'm going to just go in with my second coat and apply like I would my gel polish normally. So I'm pulling down that side wall, still going up as close as I can. Just going to butt that up a little bit further and down my side wall. And also remembering to cap my free edge. That needs to go in for 30 seconds. Okay, so that nail has now had a full cure, and I'm going to go in with my gel top coat. So again, I need to butt that up as far as I can, pull it back, exactly the same as the last nail, down my side walls and across my free edge. That needs to go in for a full cure. Okay, so that nail has now come out of the lamp and has had a full cure. I am not going to go in with my gel wipe off because I don't want to blow it and I want to keep it nice and shiny like the other nail is. So I'm just going to wait for a little while until I go in with my gel wipe off solution. But can you see how that polish, if I compare it to the other one, looks like it's growing out of that cuticle line, but I'm still not touching the cuticle. So if you've got a client, I come a little bit closer and then you'll be able to see. If you've got a client that is going away on holiday, for example, and needs their gel polish to last and look at its absolute best for as long as it possibly can, this is the technique to use rather than your normal technique. Can you see? It's ever so slight, but the gap of that millimetre gap makes all the difference. So I'm just going to go over with my gel wipe off solution into my side walls, down around my cuticle and obviously along my free edge. And because, like I said before, we've fully dehydrated that nail before we put our gel polish on, I'm going to rehydrate it now with cuticle oil along the free edge, down the side walls and along the cuticle line. And that is the two different techniques of how to effectively apply your gel polish. So that concludes my gel polish application workshop. I hope you really enjoyed it and you learnt something new. If you have any questions, then please feel free to contact me. And if you like, subscribe and click the notification bell, you will be the first to hear about all the workshops that will be coming soon. Like I say, if you have any questions, then please feel free to send me a message or comment on this post below. Have fun and I'll see you all soon.